Yeah, everywhere you look in the Australian media today, the nuclear subs deal, the subs, what a huge moment, us in the US, it's big. Except today I checked the Drudge Report, which is the biggest news aggregator site in the US. Among the dozens and dozens of stories, not a single one about this subs deal with America. For us, it's huge. For Americans, not even news. Joining me on Culture Wars is Rowan Dean, editor of The Spectator Australia and host of Outsiders on Sky News every Sunday at 9 a.m. Rowan would be a bit more reassured if Americans realised we were actually buddies and they should come to our help. They don't even know this. They don't even know we're allies and we've got this new deal. But anyway, let me come back to a question I put at the top of the show. If the Albanese government thinks nuclear power is great for our new submarines, why won't it allow nuclear power for our homes?
And that's a sensational question, Andrew, and it goes to the absolute hypocrisy and inconsistency of the entire argument around net zero, carbon emissions and so on. You see, if the Albanese government had been smart, what they would have done, and the same applies actually to Scott Morrison, what they would have done is, have we got a submarine deal for you? Forget Christopher Pine's fossil fuel subs. We've got carbon emission-free subs. And all the lovies would have gone, fantastic. Yes. What's in these subs? Solar panels, wind power? Oh, no, we've gone one better. We've got nuclear power. And they'd have gone, oh, what's that? And they've said, well, it has no carbon emissions whatsoever. So we're saving the planet as well as saving ourselves from the Chinese or whoever else may choose to invade us. That's what they should have done. Now they're stuck with going, yes, we've got these fantastic nuclear subs. Oh, but of course, nuclear power. We don't want nuclear power. But we need, what's great about this deal, and I think I'm fed up kind of, Andrew, and I'm sure you are, with the politicians treating us like morons and lying to us, basically. Clearly, the long-term game would be to have a South Australian nuclear industry, which is what Peter Malinakis has been talking about. Let's have a nuclear industry in Australia. Let's base it in South Australia, which is where the uranium is, which is where we can get rid of nuclear waste, etc., etc. Let's build our subs there. Let's have nuclear subs there. And let's have a nuclear industry. And then we solve all our problems in one go. That's what our politicians should be telling us, because I reckon that's probably what the bureaucrats are thinking or the military are thinking.
Well, from Labor's South Australian Premier Jay Weatherill was all for that. I recall, in fact, when Pangaea, an energy company, it actually was trying to pitch for South Australia to become a worldwide depository for waste because it earned absolute billions. And as our technology improved, waste could be used itself as fuel. It was a moneymaker. The Howard government was so terrified of being seen to be pro-nuclear, wouldn't even grant the company a meeting. Can you believe that? And here's a Labor government saying yes to taking the nuclear waste from these submarines. Oh, my mate, how the world turns. I just want to ask you about a leftist that we both have had impinge in our consciousness, Jane Carroll, quite prominent on the left. You see her on the ABC a bit, leftist commentator, ad woman, somehow got an Order of Australia, wrestling now with the embarrassment, as many leftists do, that fascism is actually linked to the left. She's in denial, Rowan. I want you to help her out. She has tweeted, "Dear right-wingers," I think that must have been you, "there have indeed been bloody authoritarian butchers from the left. Stalin, Pol Pot and Mao spring to mind. They were communist mass murderers. But Hitler is not one of them, nor is Mussolini and Franco. They're from the right, fascist mass murderers." Now, to me, her sense of history is very weak, Rowan. I wonder whether you could help enlighten her.
Absolutely. Well, the key to her, she kind of gave herself away right at the beginning of her tweet, where she said, "Dear right-wingers," and then the authoritarian butchers, etc. Well, the politics that I subscribe to may be described with the right. I don't know. I don't care. But the politics of small business, the politics of the individual, the rights of the individual over the so-called greater good of the collective, the rights of free enterprise, more importantly of free speech and absolute freedom of expression, those politics have never led to any mass butchers, mass murderers, authoritarian butchers ever. All the mass murderers and mass butchers either come directly, as she admits, from the left, or as you say, Hitler and Mussolini have their roots in the left. It's called Nazi, stands for National Socialist. the National Socialist Party. It was a socialist party that added the abhorrent racist overtones, but it was socialism at heart. It was, we know the party knows what's best for the people, and the party will do whatever it takes and to whatever lengths to make sure that we bring about our socialist, National Socialist utopia. Mussolini was no different. In fact, on Hitler, it was Goebbels himself. Sure, he liked to talk about the great lie, but it was Goebbels himself who boasted that Germany was socialist, thanks to his mob. Mussolini, you'll know, was a national director of the Italian Socialist Party. And the bottom line is that socialism leads to authoritarianism. That's the bottom line. And what we are seeing now, which is so terrifying, fascism is really just socialism with a layer of racism on top, or a layer, scarily, of kind of corporatism on top. Whereas instead of the workers, were working for the party, big corporations work for the interests of the party. That is fascism, and that is what we are seeing now in this world being driven by the left. This linkage of all means of communication, of big business, not small business, big business, and the big authoritarian parties. That is fascism, and that bears a scary resemblance to the sort of left that people like Jane Caro now appear to embrace.
Well, look, even one of Mussolini's final decrees was a socialisation law. Nationalising industry,
Indeed.
Which you're seeing a little bit in Victoria now, and it would have workers participating in managing factories and business. I mean, seriously, that was in 1944. He was a socialist at heart, and as you say, it's just put to different... I think it will make it clear for Jane Caro, we're talking about creeds of collectivism, where you think people can be sacrificed for the greatest greater good, like the poor are being sacrificed for global warming, versus people who believe in individualism. I hope that's now clear to her.
Exactly.
People who believe in individualism, like you and me and limited government, okay? That's what we believe in. And just quickly, Rowan, Enid Blyton books, right? They're the latest now to be censored for kids. It's just, they're apparently too terrible. The famous 5 books. They're going to take out insults like idiot, ass and shut up, which I find a bit ironic. You can't say shut up, says the publisher's now shutting up Enid Blyton.
Well, many people have tried to shut up Enid Blyton going back years and years. She's been racist, she's been accused of sexism, all the rest of it. Now, of course, they want to clean up her offence she causes to whatever people who might look for whatever reason are different. The reality here is that the modern left, and we're just talking about the authoritarian left, what they would rather our children do. If you look at Enid Blyton's stories, 5 Go Mad in Dorset, all that sort of stuff, she was advocating that childhood or children should spend their time having adventures of the mind, imagination, out in the woods and having a great time. Today's left would like them to sit and watch drag queens, and that's what kids should be doing today, according to
one day we'll
the
look
modern
back,
left, Andrew.
People will look back and think, what the hell? Rowan Dean, thank you so much for your time.